am your teacher, Mr. Pacitti, and this is my classroom here in Des Moines, Iowa. So put away your mobile phones, put away your Christmas cheer. I've got no time for it, not in my classroom. It's time to concentrate, it's time to study. This is Raw, and this is Graded. We are kicking things off with the hometown hero himself, Seth Rollins, who, despite the fact that he's a local lad, still mostly got booed here. Good job, Des Moines, Iowa. That is how detestable Seth Rollins is. He brings out the AOP and then talks about how everybody was saying that he was the future of WWE, but now they're starting to question his leadership. Seth says he is here to lay out the truth, that he is a leader, but he's more than that. He is a visionary. He is here to lead this brand into the future, and you are going to come with him whether you like it or not. And Des Moines, they're starting to cheer. Slag him off, Seth, quick. He then puts over the AOP and how dangerous they are. They are here to enforce his will whether you like it or not, and says that he has a score to settle by the end of the night. And you're not going to like it, but he has to do it. I'm sorry. Ooh. But who's he talking about? Hold your horses. We will find out soon. A lovely little promo to kick off this episode of Raw. Short, sweet, didn't drag at all, and a nice little hook for the rest of the night to keep us watching. This gets an A-. It finally feels like we're on the right track with Seth's character. This blending of kayfabe and reality really working for me. Good delivery too. And also the AOP feel like a big deal already. They feel like a bigger deal than they would have felt had they just been lumped in with the rest of the Raw tag division, so nothing to complain about at all here. Time for a match, and it's a rematch from TLC, but the title isn't on the line. It's the Viking Raiders squaring off against the OC, and this one isn't just a 10-minute commercial for KFC, so points there. Refreshing to see Erick and Ivar do something that isn't just a squash match. This was largely competitive. It got plenty of time, like 10 or 15 minutes. Gallows and Anderson really taking it to the Raw Tag Team Champs. There weren't any really notable spots for me to talk about here. It was just solid in-ring action between three big burly brutes and also Carl Anderson. But he's got a really hot wife, so... Erick ends up getting the hot tag. In comes Ivar, clears house, double dive to the outside by both members of the Viking Raiders. Lovely stuff. We go to commercial. We come back from commercial. Doesn't last too much longer at this point. Hansen goes up. Ivar goes up top, goes for the moonsault, misses it. Magic killer, and the OC picking up the win as Samoa Joe shouts, "New champs! New champs! New champs!" No. It's okay. Samoa Joe covered for it beautifully, going, "Rewind. They should be tag champions," even if the belts weren't on the line. It doesn't matter. A solid encounter here. There's not that much to talk about, but hopefully this marks the end, the absolute end of the completely unnecessary Viking Raiders squash matches. Been saying that for a while. Every time I think they're going away, they come back. It was a very enjoyable match. It gets a B+, one of the strongest matches on the show. Speaking of unnecessary squash matches, please welcome to the ring Erick Rowan. He is here to take on a local competitor. That local competitor, whose name I didn't write down, makes the mistake of approaching the cat cage. Haven't you been watching Raw? Don't you know what's going to happen to you? So Rowan goes and he splashes him on the outside, gets him back in the ring. Iron Claw. That's your lot. Erick Rowan wins, obviously, and this gets a D. Sorry. Last week, I feel like we finally got a little bit of progression with this storyline, but this week, we learned nothing new. It felt like a complete waste of our time. And in fact, this whole thing feels like WWE Creative just buying time while they themselves figure out what is in that cat cage. It's going to be underwhelming. Sorry, you get my D. And now we go from pointless to just plain bad as we welcome Bobby Lashley and Lana to the ring. Lana plugs her Instagram. She bigs up her hot boyfriend's win at TLC. And she stumbles over lots and lots of lines once again. Which is, you know, we talk about consistency all the time. At least that's consistent, eh? Lana says that Rusev Day is dead to a humongous boo. And you know when a wrestler's doing a promo and they don't quite know what to do, in that they'll respond far too much to the little chants that are happening in the crowd, or they'll resort for cheap heat to insulting the crowd, but do it loads. That. Lana ends up handing a ring over to Bobby and she's like, I want you to ask me to marry me. I want you to propose to me, Bobby. It was about that awkward anyway. And Bobby then goes, I don't like it when people tell me what to do. Oh my God, hit her with a Dominator. No, except for you, because you're so bloody gorgeous. And Lana, will you marry me? And Lana's like, oh, it's just like we rehearsed. Yes, I will marry you. And now they're engaged. Congratulations to Lana and her hot, hard boyfriend. Lana's going like, yes, 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 this is going to be wonderful. It's going to happen on Lana Day. This is just the best day of my life and all that. And I was expecting Rusev to come out at any moment, but nope. That's it. I'm done with this now. This gets an F. I've made no secret about the fact that I've enjoyed the Rusev Bobby Lana stuff on the odd occasion. The odd week has been okay because Rusev has been involved. He's so charismatic, he's so likable that he just about makes those segments work. But with no Rusev here, we've just got Lana and Bobby, who clearly at this point aren't the most gifted performers. The whole thing was just not entertaining to watch. It wasn't fun. It was poorly delivered garbage. And Rusev wasn't there to save the day. But I don't think Rusev's done with this storyline. I think this is going to be dragged out until Royal Rumble. Or maybe WrestleMania. Or maybe TLC next year. Give the people what they want, Vince. US title #1 contenders match is up next, and immediately I'm into this because it makes the US title feel like a big deal. Just the idea that lots and lots of people want to get their hands on that belt. That's all good. And also some entertaining mini matches within a match to talk about here too. So RTruth is out first. Funny little promo from RTruth. Nice to hear him on the mic. He points at a non-existent WrestleMania sign. Very funny. His opponent is Akira Tozawa. Fun little exchange between the pair. Akira with a senton to the outside off the apron, and then he pins RTruth, rolling him up with a sort of modified sunset flip thing. And that's nice to see too, because Akira, his role previously, for the past few weeks at least, has been making other people look very, very good. So this was nice to see, and it means we get Akira in the match for a little bit longer, which is the right call too. Truth ends up getting chased away by the catering crew, all hungry for his 24/7 title, and then Ricochet makes his way to the ring, so we're going to get Akira versus Ricochet now, and this is exactly what you would imagine it to be. Fast-paced, fun, flippy, all the Fs. Ricochet hits the recoil, eliminating Akira Tozawa. Matt Hardy's out next. You've got a new baby, Matt. Go and see your baby. Instead, he comes to the ring, hits a side effect straight away for a 2 count, and then we just get a great sort of mini match in itself. Matt and Ricochet have really, really good chemistry. Who'd have thunk it? And later on, Matt hitting a second side effect for a really, really great near fall. Like, I know it's just a side effect, but I bit. It had me for a second. Anyway, Matt ends up going for the twist of fate, but gets rolled up by Ricochet. 1, 2, 3, and Matt's eliminated, but it was awkward as hell. Nobody in the ring seemed to know what was going on here. I assume that wasn't the planned finish. I think it was the right result. I think Ricochet was meant to continue in the match and Matt be eliminated, but it was just like the referee's like, yeah, yep, that's your lot. Commentary, not at all knowing what to say either. It was a bit awkward, but it didn't harm the match much at all. Umberto is out next, and there's a nice little moment right at the beginning where Ricochet tries to seize an opportunity. Umberto going for a handshake, and then Ricochet going for a roll-up straight away, and then just some lovely cruiserweight action. Stick him on 205 Live. Sam, is 205 Live still a thing? Largely back and forth, fast-paced stuff, and then as both men are chilling out on the mat, Zelina Vega rears her ugly head. She's not ugly at all. Zelina Vega rears her head, standing at the top of the ramp. Ooh. A few more near falls, all good stuff, and then really great closing sequence actually, as Ricochet reverses the reverse Rana, nails a pump kick, but ends up getting laid out. Umberto nailing the moonsault, really great moonsault, love Umberto's moonsault, picking up the win, but what's Zelina Vega doing up there? Andrade's music hits, but he doesn't appear from the ramp. You know the score. Rolls in the ring and just attacks Umberto from behind. Ah, that's what Zelina was doing, you cheeky little scamp. So, Umberto is then relentlessly beaten down by Andrade. He is absolutely horrible here. He takes him outside and then exposes the concrete, lifting the mat up, and then hammerlock DDT on the concrete. Disgusting! And the match is called off. Oh. The US champion, Rey Mysterio, seems to think it's disgusting too, as he makes his way to ringside to check on his little buddy, his big buddy, his bigger buddy, I guess. And then Umberto is stretched away, Rey's in the ring, and then some music hits. boys and girls, it's time to burn it down. It's bloody Seth Rollins. Rey almost immediately gets beaten down by Seth's new buddies, the AOP, and Seth's like, hey Rey, I'm just here to give you your pipe back. And then Rey gets beaten down a little bit more, and it looks like they're about to leave, and Seth's going like, I'm a merciful leader, so I'm not going to do any more. But of course he bloody is. Runs up, curb stomp, and then he's out of there, you horrible little bastard. Initially, I was a little bit pissed off that we didn't get a proper result to what was a pretty lengthy match. But the more I think about this, the more I realise that actually this achieved heaps. This gets an A. The in-ring quality was strong from start to finish. Andrade looks like a sadistic arsehole, and there's a feud set up there. Seth Rollins looks like even more of a sadistic arsehole, and the whole thing just made sense. I'm really enjoying the Seth we saw last night. This merciless mob boss who believes his own BS. It's really, really interesting to watch, and such a refreshing change. And as I say, although I was annoyed at this point in the night we didn't have a new #1 contender, from a storyline perspective, I think we achieved a great deal more than just having a man win and then getting a match in the future. So, all good stuff. Asuka is out next, and she is here to face off against NXT's Deonna Purrazzo. Okay, unexpected. Maybe plans changed because of the Kyrie injury on Sunday night, but fair play to WWE because they produced it was like a 30-second thing, just a quick video package introducing the crowd and anyone watching at home who's unfamiliar with Deonna to who she is. I wish they would do that more. Things start off really hot as Deonna nails Asuka with a pump kick, and then we go to commercial, we come back from commercial, and everything is slowed down considerably, and it doesn't really pick up until the very end. It's just submission attempt, submission attempt, submission attempt. Asuka at the end laying in some kicks, but then locks in the Asuka lock, and Deonna taps out, and that's your lot. This gets a B-. I can't really give it any more than that. It's nice to see NXT featured on the main shows, but if I was unfamiliar with Deonna Purrazzo or NXT as a whole, would this match have made me want to tune in on Wednesday nights? I don't think it would. That said, I'm willing to go easy on it because it probably wasn't the plan on Sunday night. Kyrie's injury might have really shaken things up. The match itself, unremarkable, nothing to write home about at all, but it was also probably sensible if Asuka's now going to be involved in a singles program with Becky Lynch to give her a dominant win, a dominant singles win. But did it have to be against Deonna? Nah. Next up, we get one of those super serious sit-down interviews, this time with the Raw Women's Champion, Becky Lynch. She says that she thought she was being buried. She'd been taken out of the singles division, put in the tag division, and yeah, she thought she was being buried, but now she realizes that she's being protected. She knows that she is the top dog of the women's division, and WWE brass are trying to protect her from Asuka because they think that Becky Lynch can't win. But Becky Lynch didn't come here to be protected. She puts over Asuka as somebody who is crazy, crazy dangerous. And then she looks down the camera. She's breaking the fourth wall, bro, and says that she needs to prove to herself that she can defeat Asuka. And that is exactly what she's going to do. Super simple stuff, but also super effective. Good stuff, short, sweet, it gets a B+. Great delivery, as always, by Becky Lynch. This interview, combined with the match that happened before it, did make Asuka feel like a legitimate threat again. They've done a really good job of repairing Asuka after a significant amount of time of some really dodgy booking on WWE's part. Main event time, and it's AJ Styles versus Randall Keith, and I'm not quite sure why they insist on putting this particular storyline in the main event segment each and every week, because we've had some pretty underwhelming closes to Raw in recent weeks, and I get it. I get that AJ and Randy, they're both big names, but quite often I just feel a bit deflated after Raw, and I think the main event segment is a big part of that. And this week, once again, no exception. Randy looking for the RKO early, and AJ manages to escape, but then gets thrown into the ring steps on the outside. They brawl in the ring a little bit more, and then AJ locks in the calf crusher, but Randy manages to wriggle out, and he gets to the outside to regain his composure. Slow and methodical as we return from commercial break, as one would expect. Randy Orton escaping a calf crusher, and then AJ setting up for the phenomenal forearm, and he goes up, and then Randy looks like he's going to do the RKO, but no, AJ's got him scouted, so he goes for it again, and then he gets nailed with an RKO anyway. Randy wins. Alan, you idiot. So as Randy Orton is stood in the center of the ring celebrating his huge win, outrun Gallows and Anderson. They start beating him down, but here are the Viking Raiders to make the save, but they end up getting overpowered, and the closing image of this week's Raw is just the OC standing tall in the center of the ring. And I haven't read the results for next week's taped episode of Raw, but I would bet my bottom dollar that we're going to see a six-man tag. Holla, holla, player, player. I will eat Sam's hat if we don't get that. It's obviously going to be Randy and the Viking Raiders versus the OC. And what a wonderful way to finish the year that will be. This gets a B-. It was all right. It's what I said earlier, isn't it? It's just a bit of an underwhelming closing shot for an episode of Raw. It's meant to be the hard sell, and it doesn't make me want to tune in much next week. And the final grade for the final episode of Raw Graded this year is a B. It was a solid improvement from last week, and fair play to Seth Rollins, who was the most entertaining part of the show by far. Babyface Seth Rollins was not working one bit, but heel dickhead in real life Seth Rollins, yes please. Anyway, last Raw Graded of the year, so let's go out with a bang. What's the difference between a snowman and a snow woman? Snowballs. Bang! See you next year. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. You can follow us on Twitter at Cultaholic. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. If you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can pledge to us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Cultaholic. And most importantly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.